When we're thinking about sales, selling art as an artist, for example, or sales in general, there's a misconception going on because a lot of people, they believe that life is all about sales, that everything in life is sales. When you're seducing the girl, when you're trying to get the job, when you're trying to sell a piece of art, when you're trying to etc., 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 they think that all those moments are actually sales moments, and that you have to learn sales tricks, manipulation tricks almost to get your way through life. Now those people, those artists, those people will lose in life. There's no doubt about it. They will all lose. And so let's think this through, because as artists, we often think, or a lot of artists are actually not selling enough art, and then they think, hey, I have to push my sales skills up. It's the sales skills that will determine how much art I will sell. And then they go in that route. And a lot of them go in the wrong route, where they're trying to learn tricks and manipulation aspects to get their way. And that's just the wrong attitude. That never really works, especially in the high ticket sales that is the art world. Or life itself. If you're selling €5 fidget spinners, sure, use some manipulation sales tricks, you will win. But if you're selling yourself in a relationship, for example, something expensive, something important, you will lose with those tricks. If you're selling art, something really expensive, you will lose with those tricks. So let's give an example. A lot of times when I look at life, I try to see what the majority of people are doing that and winning and succeeding in the thing that I want to get, and then I copy paste it. And then in other aspects, when I want to avoid stuff, of course, I look at the majority of people, what they're doing to get those things, and then I think like, okay, I'm not going to do that because they are getting that result that I don't want. So let's take, for example, seduction. Let's take relationships. If we look at the stats, at the data of relationships, we can see that the majority of marriages crossing the whole globe fail. And the far majority, 97% plus relationships, not marriages, relationships fail and fall apart. So that's something that I want to avoid. That's something that you have to want to avoid. Now, what are they doing? What are these people doing that leads up to that failure? They're trying to trick people. I see boys of my age trying to learn all these silly, stupid tricks that might work in the short term, but only in the short term. Girls that try to play it hard to get the boy a little bit more attracted to them. Like, it will work. The boy will get more attracted to you. But several months later, the price goes back to the value. You can manipulate the price of yourself by schmink or makeup or clothes or all of those things. You can manipulate the price and make yourself more attractive, but you cannot manipulate the value that easily. And surprise always goes to the value again. These boys who will, for example, give a compliment to a girl, and then after the compliment they will nag her to kind of balance it out. And then the girl thinks like, yeah, is this a compliment or not? Like, those things will work. In the short term, they will actually work. But if the flag doesn't cover the load, you will lose in the end, because over time, in weeks or months, those people will see reality. They will see reality. And so in the first months, you've in that relationship, you might have tricked your way in, but months later, reality kicks in. And you've not only manipulated the other person to like you, but you've also, by putting so much time and effort in applying those sales tricks, in applying that manipulation, you've manipulated yourself in believing that this is the right thing, in believing that this is the right relationship. And then as a result, months later, stuff starts to fall apart. And a year or two in, you're thinking, wow, how did I end up here? Like, you're thinking, wow, what the fuck is wrong? And this doesn't make any sense. And so these are important things. And in the arts, it's the same way. If you're trying to sell art, then going for those short-term sales tricks might actually to some extent here and there work. But the market mavens, the collectors of the markets, they will notice over time. And they will not forget it. They will remember. And your prices therefore will not, it will not be that beneficial for the prices over time. People remember, people know. You might win as an artist in your 20s, but not in your 50s. If you've played the sales game for 30 years straight, only selling, it's not gonna happen. And then on top of that, you also have that idea of how you do anything is how you do everything. If you practice tricks and manipulation early on in your art career, you will play tricks and manipulations throughout that whole career. Now, does this mean that selling art, anything around sales, a bad thing? Of course not. There's crazy amounts of good sales out there, but good sales is less about selling and tricking and manipulation. It's more about helping people out. I, for example, have never, from my perception, I've never sold anything. From my perception, I've never sold anything. Sure, in the transaction there was money, but that was not for me. How can I explain that? That's just not the transaction. The transaction isn't money. Money is a tool and is being used in that transaction, but the transaction does not equal money. And so when I look at making art or any service or anything that I will do in my life, I will never see it as sales. Why? Because the price that people pay will always be way less than the value that they get. And so what happens is, this is not tricking or manipulation. This is giving. This is so much giving that people don't need to be tricked or manipulated in something. They don't. And the people who need to, you just leave them out. You don't try to sell to the unsellable. You don't try to do that. That's a bad sales tactic. And so for me, making art, and that's my mindset. Why? Because if you do not have that mindset, you will fall or tend to fall in that salesy way of life. And so when we are thinking about selling art, whether it's online or offline or anything within the art world, we have to understand that there are two types of sales. One that I mentioned in this video, just whatever it is, and the other one is a method that is built on the foundation of providing value and helping people out. Whatever type of sales that you do, you have to understand which currency you're using. If you're selling art and the currency from your perspective is money, you have a problem. You have a problem, because when money is a currency, those sales tricks and manipulation things, they will actually work. They will actually work. Like manipulating in the short term will get you that money. In the long term, probably not most amount of money. But in the short term, you will get towards that currency that you want quicker. Which is the pitfall, which is the actual thing that leads you to long-term failure. And so understanding the currency is crucial. When the currency is not money, making art and selling art becomes completely different. It becomes about some kind of spirituality. Perhaps even a business type of spirituality or whatever. It becomes about giving. It becomes about value. How can I help bring creativity through objects in this world? It becomes like there are a lot of facets to it that go beyond money. Same with the girl. In the seduction example, for example, if the girl is the currency, in the short term, you will, with those manipulation tricks, you will actually get the girl. If the girl is the currency, if getting the girl is what you're after, manipulation will win the game. It will actually win the game. And that's the problem, because 1 year in, 2 years in, that relationship, you might realize, hey, wait a minute, this is not really what I wanted. And so what should the currency be is the relationship itself. How can I provide value to this person? Again, value. How can I provide value to this person, help them out, enrich their lives? And how can they do the same for me? That's relationship. Then it's not about getting something. It's about building something. It's about creating. It's about art. It's about making stuff. And so that is the currency. In that relationship, that is the currency. In art, it's the same thing. It's the relationship aspect that should be the currency. And so this is a quick side note, because I already get some people who are misinterpreting some of my videos when especially the sales videos, the art sales videos, and then they say stuff like, yeah, hey, this is cool, this is a manipulation trick, this is that. Like, sometimes I provide those things to give you the information, but what I deeply want is that you understand the mindset that will actually matter way more than the small tips. You have to see the whole totality of all videos combined to kind of understand what is going on here. But yeah, anyway, that's it. I hope this video helped. I hope the other videos help. If you want to know more about selling art, perhaps here and there some manipulation, whatever, but now you know how to deal with it. Now you know how to interpret it. Check out one of my other videos, and I hope to see you sometime around. Like, comment. Ciao, ciao.